these sneaky little habits might seem harmless. Drinking your coffee first thing in the morning, eating a seemingly healthy breakfast, but they might be the reason your body's holding onto fat like it's preparing for winter. And if you're over 50, your metabolism is not nearly as forgiving as it used to be. Most people over 50 are unknowingly starting their day in fat storing mode. Not because they're eating too much, but because of what they're doing or what they're not doing within the first few hours after waking up. And I've seen this pattern time and time again with my clients. I'm Kait, a nutritionist who specializes in helping people over 50 balance their blood sugar, reverse insulin resistance, and lose weight naturally without restrictive diets or crazy workout plans. And what we're focusing on today, these are the exact morning shifts that make the biggest difference. And spoiler alert, they're all pretty small changes. Swaps that you can make tomorrow morning. Because once you spot these habits and tweak them just a little, your metabolism finally starts to cooperate again. So let's start out with one of the most common that could be backfiring. You're having coffee on an empty stomach and you're skipping breakfast. Now listen, I am all for intermittent fasting. I think skipping breakfast can be very beneficial for certain people, but other groups, specifically women over 50, it might not be the best approach. See, as women, our hormones are a lot more sensitive, and they are very sensitive to calorie restriction, which can be extremely annoying if you're trying to lose weight. For some people, skipping breakfast, especially in the way most people do it, actually triggers a stress response in the body that makes fat loss harder, not easier. Now, this isn't the case for everyone, but this is something to keep in mind if you're not getting the results you're after. If you're intermittent fasting and you're losing weight, if you're progressing towards your goals, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you're skipping breakfast and not getting the results you're looking for, if it's making you more stressed, if it's really difficult to stick to, this is something to consider. Because when you wake up, your cortisol, which is your main stress hormone, is already naturally elevated. Cortisol is not the enemy. It's part of your body's way to get you up and going. But when you don't eat anything and then pour a strong coffee on top of that, it can spike your cortisol even further. And when that stress response stays elevated, it signals your body to hold on to fat, especially around your belly. Throwback to my video on cortisol belly from a few weeks ago. And like I said, this matters even more for women than it does for men. Women tend to have more sensitive adrenal systems. And when you're already dealing with hormonal shifts after 50, think lower estrogen and more insulin resistance, your body becomes extra reactive to stressors like this. Coffee on an empty stomach might have worked well when you were younger, but not so much now. So if skipping breakfast isn't working for you, here's what you can try instead. Eat a protein-rich breakfast within 60 to 90 minutes of waking up. Think eggs, smoked salmon, Greek yogurt. You want quality protein here. That is going to be the key. Fat is important too. Ideally, you want to keep carbohydrates on the lower side. This will help to blunt the cortisol curve and give your body the signal that it's safe and nourished. And this kind of leads us into the second reason. Your breakfast is high in carbs and low in protein. Now we've talked about eating breakfast, let's talk more specifically about what to eat. This might be the single biggest needle mover if you're trying to lose fat over 50. Most people start their day with something like toast and jam, cereal with fruit, a banana smoothie, or even a bowl of oatmeal. These are often labeled as healthy, but here's the issue. They're high in carbohydrates and low in protein and fat. And when you eat a meal like this first thing in the morning, especially if you're insulin resistant or dealing with postmenopausal hormone shifts, it spikes your blood sugar quickly, then crashes it a couple hours later. You end up hungry, tired, and craving something sweet by 10 a.m. But here's the worst part of all of this. Eating a breakfast like this spikes your insulin. Now, insulin is an important hormone for our metabolism, but when it's elevated, our body is in fat storage mode and not fat burning mode. Because when insulin is high, this basically signals our body that there's energy available in our system, aka there's sugar in our blood, which our cells can use for energy. Short term, this is a good thing. Carbohydrates and sugar are good, quick energy sources. But if we're trying to lose fat, this isn't ideal. And most people don't need immediate energy like this. And this is why I recommend flipping your breakfast macronutrients completely. You want protein front and center. Protein not only keeps you full for longer, it also helps to stabilize your blood sugar and your insulin levels. It supports your metabolism and protects lean muscle, which is key after 50, when muscle loss speeds up. So let me give you a comparison. Instead of a bowl of oatmeal with a banana and honey, which is almost entirely carbohydrates and will spike your blood sugar, try a few scrambled eggs cooked in butter, or a leftover beef patty with avocado on the side. pretty much any variation of eggs, meat, seafood, yogurt and dairy, full-fat Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. These are all examples of high-quality protein sources. Combine that with a little bit of fat, and this is a powerful combo, especially for satiety and for fat burning. And this is where high-quality protein can really make your mornings easier. I keep my freezer stocked with meat from Butchercraft. All of their products are grass-fed, free-range, or wild-caught. They're ethically raised and delivered straight to your door, so you always have clean, nutrient-dense protein on hand. Their wild-caught smoked salmon, an absolute game changer, and so difficult to find here in Australia. They ship Australia-wide, and you can change, pause, or cancel your subscription at any time. So there's no reason not to give them a try. You can head to healthcoachkait.com/butchercrowd and use code HCK15 to save 15% off your first box. Honestly, give them a try for 1 month, see what you think. I can almost guarantee you're going to continue your subscription, but if you don't want to, like I said, you can cancel at any time. I'll put that link in the description box down below and you can check it out for yourself. So remember, the type of breakfast you're eating matters. Starting your day with carbs and sugar is a fast track to cravings, energy crashes, and fat storage. But if you lead with protein, you put your metabolism in fat burning mode right from the start. Now, the third mistake you might be making is checking your phone first thing in the morning. Now, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Do you reach for your phone immediately when you wake up? Honestly, this is something I am guilty of. I go through phases. I always keep my phone outside of my bedroom, but a lot of days I get up, pick up my phone, and get right back into bed. I've broken this habit in the past, but honestly, recently I've fallen back into it. Maybe this is my sign to break that habit again. Because if this is something you can do, it could be playing a role in sabotaging your weight loss. As we spoke about earlier, your body wakes up with naturally elevated cortisol levels, and that's normal. But when you instantly expose yourself to notifications, stress, and stimulation, you trigger an even bigger cortisol response right out of the gate. And for women over 50 whose hormones are already more sensitive to stress, this matters a lot. Higher cortisol first thing can increase belly fat storage, elevate blood sugar, and throw off your hunger cues for the rest of the day. That means more cravings, more energy crashes, and less metabolic flexibility. Instead, try building a 10 to 15 minute no phone buffer in the morning. Use that time to step outside, hydrate, stretch, or just breathe. Give your body time to ease into the day without jumping straight into stress mode. It sounds small, but this small change can have a ripple effect throughout your entire day. And one of the side effects of making this change is better fat burning. Now, this kind of ties in, but number 4 is you don't get sunlight exposure in the morning. This one is overlooked all of the time, but it's a metabolic game changer, especially if you're over 50. If you're not getting natural light in your eyes within the first hour of waking, you're messing with your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm controls everything from hunger and energy levels to fat-burning hormones. Morning sunlight tells your body that it's time to be awake. It boosts cortisol at the right time of day and helps shut off melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. Without it, you can feel groggy in the morning. You crave carbs, and your sleep will actually suffer that night. And this, of course, also impacts your weight. So how do you fix it? Honestly, it's really simple. Within the first hour of waking, get outside and expose your eyes to natural light for 5, 10, 15 minutes. That's all it takes. Now, I will note that you can't be wearing sunglasses and you can't get the exposure through glass, through a window. It has to be direct. And by that, I mean you're not looking directly at the sun, of course. But sunglasses and glass actually filter out the wavelengths that you need. The wavelengths that signal your body that it's daytime and to release the correct hormones. So sit outside in the morning when you're eating your breakfast, drinking your coffee, go for a quick walk. Like I said, 5, 10, 15 minutes, all it takes. And then number 5 is that you drink juice or a smoothie in the morning. This is one of the biggest traps disguised as a healthy habit. Starting your day with fruit juice or a fruit smoothie. And this one hits especially hard if you're insulin resistant, which becomes more common after 50. A glass of orange juice might give you a bit of a vitamin C boost, but honestly, it's mostly just sugar, and it's going to give you a big blood sugar spike. Your blood sugar spikes, your insulin follows, and your fat burning turns off. And this blood sugar swing sets you up for cravings all day long. And smoothies, yeah, you can pack a lot in there, but most people are just drinking them with fruit, or mainly fruit. So if you still want to have a smoothie, just make sure you add a high quality protein. Something like Equip's Prime Protein Powder doesn't have any added sugar or artificial sweeteners. There's no fillers, so that's your good option to add in. That adds some protein, which helps to slow down the digestion of the carbohydrates and the sugar from the fruit. Slower digestion means less of a spike, less of a crash, less insulin needed all at once. Add some fat in as well, a nut butter, avocado, that sort of thing. This can help too if you really like your smoothies and aren't willing to give them up. And finally, number 7 is that you're not hydrating properly in the morning. If you go straight from bed to drinking coffee, your metabolism is starting off at a disadvantage. Your body loses water overnight through breathing and sweating. That mild dehydration might not feel like much, but it slows fat metabolism, making you feel sluggish and can even trigger hunger signals, which lead to overeating. And get this, just by being 1 to 2% dehydrated, this can reduce your calorie burning potential. So make sure to hydrate before you caffeinate in the morning. Bonus points if you add a pinch of sea salt, a high-quality electrolyte supplement like sody, add a splash of apple cider vinegar, or squeeze in a little bit of lemon juice. Think of hydration as a wake-up call for your metabolism. It's free, it's simple, and it works, especially when your body is more sensitive to these small changes after 50. Okay, so let's quickly recap the biggest takeaways from today's video because I know we've covered a lot. If you're over 50 and struggling to lose weight, your morning habits matter more than you think. Skipping breakfast, checking your phone before sunlight, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, these might seem harmless, but they're all triggering hormonal patterns that make fat loss harder. The good news is there are small fixes that can make a big difference. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Start your day with protein, get some sunlight, hydrate before your coffee, and be intentional about how you spend those first 90 minutes. And if you're ready to stock your kitchen with high quality protein and make your breakfast a no-brainer, make sure to check out ButcherCut. Like I said, they ship Australia-wide and you can save 15% off your first box when you use code HCK15 at checkout. Now, if this video has helped you, you might also like my video from last week. That's on 7 foods that help you to naturally lower your blood sugar. So I will link that on the screen now. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.